I might get in trouble for saying this, especially since this is going on YouTube, but I'm sort of tired after 44 years of hearing the same Easter passage over and over and over again. It's like one of those things that you hear, and it's like when you say the Lord's Prayer, you often just don't even think about what you're saying. And you're reading the words, you're saying the words, but it sort of goes in one ear and out the other. Not that it's not important, but sometimes it just sort of loses the effect because we've heard the story of the resurrection so many times, and we hear it repeated every Sunday during Eucharist. You know, this past last year, while I was recovering on disability from neck surgery, when I was sitting at home feeling blue and sorry for myself, I did a lot of reading, and I came across, when I was reading, a short story which transformed my whole understanding of Easter, and left me with a new appreciation. I wanted to give you that gift today, to share with you that short story, so you too might experience Easter with new eyes. The Ragman by Walter Wangerin. One Friday morning, I noticed a young man, handsome and strong, walking the alleys of our city. He was pulling an old cart filled with clothes both bright and new, and he was calling in a rich baritone voice, "Rags!" The air was foul, and the first light filthy to be crossed by such sweet music. "Rags! New rags for old! I take your tired rags! Rags!" Now this is a wonder, I thought to myself, for the man stood 6'4", and his arms were like tree limbs, hard and muscular, and his eyes flashed with intelligence. Could he find no better job than this, to be a ragman in the inner city? I followed him. My curiosity drove me, and I wasn't disappointed. Soon the ragman saw a woman sitting on her back porch. She was sobbing into a handkerchief, sighing and shedding 1,000 tears. Her knees and elbows made a sad X. Her shoulders shook. Her heart was breaking. The ragman stopped his cart. Quietly, he walked to the woman, stepping round tin cans, dead toys, and Pampers. "Give me your rag," he said gently, "and I'll give you another." He slipped the handkerchief from her eyes. She looked up, and he laid across her palm a linen cloth so clean and new that it shined. She blinked from the gift to the giver. Then as he began to pull the cart away, the ragman did a strange thing. He put her stained handkerchief to his own face, and he began to weep, to sob as grievously as she done, his shoulders shaking. Yet she was left without a tear. This is a wonder, I breathed to myself, and I followed the ragman like a child who cannot turn away from the mystery. Rags! Rags! New rags for old! In a little while, when the sky showed gray behind the rooftops, and I could see the shredded curtains hanging out black windows, the ragman came upon a girl whose head was wrapped in a bandage, whose eyes were empty. Blood soaked her bandage, and a single line of blood ran down her cheek. Now the tall ragman looked upon this child with pity, and he drew a lovely yellow bonnet from his cart. "Give me your rag," he said, tracing his own line on her cheek. "I'll give you mine." The child could only gaze at him while he loosened the bandage, removed it, and he tied it on his own head. The bonnet he set on hers, and I gasped what I saw. For with the bandage went the wound. Against his brow it ran a darker, more substantial blood, his own. "Rags! Rags! I take old rags," cried the sobbing, bleeding, strong, intelligent ragman. The sun hurt both the sky, and now it was hurting my eyes. But the ragman seemed more and more in a hurry. "Are you going to work?" he asked a man who leaned against a telephone pole. The man shook his head. The ragman pressed him. "Don't you have a job?" "Are you crazy?" sneered the other. He pulled away from the robe, from the pole, revealing the right sleeve of his jacket, flat and cut, stuffed into the pocket. The man had no arm. "So," said the ragman, "give me your jacket, and I'll give you mine." Such quiet authority over his voice. The one-armed man took his jacket. So did the ragman, and I trembled what I saw. For the ragman's arm stayed in its sleeve, and when the other put it on, the man had two good arms, thick as tree limbs. But the ragman had only one. "Go to work," he said. After that, he found a drunk lying unconscious beneath an army blanket, an old, hunched, and sick man. He took that blanket and he wrapped it around himself, but for the drunk, he left him new clothes. And now I had to run to keep up with the ragman. Though he was weeping uncontrollably and bleeding freely from the forehead, pulling his cart with one arm, stumbling from the drunkenness, falling again and again, exhausted, old and sick, yet he went with terrible speed. On spider's legs he skittered throughout the alleys of the city, this mile, and then the next, until he came to the limits. And then he rushed beyond. I wept to see the change in this man. I hurt to see the sorrow. And yet I needed to see where he was going in such haste, perhaps to know what drove him now. The little old ragman came to the landfill. He came to the garbage pits. And then I wanted to help him in what he did, but I hung back, hiding. He climbed a hill. With tormented labor, he cleared a little space on that hill. Then he sighed. He lay down. He pillowed his head on a handkerchief and a jacket. He covered his bones with an army blanket. And he died. Oh, how I cried to witness that death. I slumped into a junked car and wailed and mourned as one who has no hope, because I had come to love the ragman. Every other face had faded in the wonder of this man, and I cherished him, but he died. I sobbed myself to sleep. I did not know. How could I know? But I slept through Friday night and Saturday and its night too. But then early on Sunday morning I was wakened by a violence. Light, pure, hard, demanding light slammed against my sour face, and I blinked and I looked and saw the last and first wonder of all. There was the ragman, folding the blanket most carefully, a scar on his forehead, but alive. And besides that, healthy. There was no sign of sorrow nor of age, and all the rags that he had gathered shined with cleanliness. Then I lowered my head, and trembling for all that I had seen, I myself walked up to the ragman. I told him my name in shame, for I was a sorry figure next to him. Then I took off all my clothes in that place, and I said to him with dear yearning in my voice, "Dress me." And he dressed me. My God, he put new rags on me, and now I am a wonder beside him. The ragman. The ragman.